Hello, students. You are watching yours and my channel. Today, we are going to take up the class 10 CBSE level poems that are there in your syllabus for 2024-25. But before we start with our explanations, I request you to like, share, and subscribe my channel. So let us start with the first poem, Dust of Snow, written by Robert Frost. The poem Dust of Snow by Robert Frost is a very simple and short poem, not at all a very lengthy one, but it has got a deeper meaning. And the poet explains how a simple, insignificant, or rather petty action, that is experiencing or observing the snow on one's body, it can brighten up one's day. The message of the poem, as given by Robert Frost, always a larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. So here the poet says that the simple, mundane things of our life can turn out to be a universal one, can give us the universal concept of life. Now let us go to the theme of the poem. We need to understand that. The theme of the poem, Dust of Snow, is nature's power for changing, for transformation, including how it can change one's attitude and viewpoint of life. We come across with the crow and the hemlock tree. Both are considered to be very inauspicious, but they can change his mood from that of sadness to happiness. Dust of Snow, it's a short poem written by Robert Frost. It throws or it brings into light upon the unimaginable healing power of nature and the tiny things that we come across in our daily life. From a very bad mood to ill health, there is nothing that can be cured by nature. So, nature has a healing power which can change everything into a positive note. The poet was experiencing one such sad day when a crow's movement near a hemlock tree dusted snow upon him. The snow instantly makes him very happy. His day changes from sadness to happiness. Thus, we find the supremacy or the dominating aspect of nature as a whole, which has made him realize that how petty his problems were. Previously, he was engrossed with his own problems, but when the snow falls upon his shoulder, his whole mental makeup has undergone a great change. And that is undoubtedly from negative to positive. The fact that hemlock tree is a poisonous plant, all of us know it. It combined with the crow being the indicator of death and fear, they are used in the poem as the carriers of happiness in the life of the narrator. And that is ironical here. The poet, through these objects, has tried to bring into light that sometimes the creatures which are linked with the negative aspects of life, they can bring about great changes and happiness in life. Here, the hemlock tree and the crow, they are the examples of this fact. Being outdoors in nature, with all its unpredictability, can benefit anyone, anywhere, at any time. Clear? Now, I'll read out the poem. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. The poem is set in a scene where the poet is in a very bad mood, very sad mood, and is walking by a tree, and that is the hemlock tree, which we call as a poisonous tree. As he passes by, a crow happens to throw some snow dust on the poet as he was walking below it. Whether it falls on his head or shoulder, that is not known in the poem, or that is not mentioned in the poem, as there is no specific mention about it. Also, the readers are left in the doubt about the bird's specific action, whether the crow was landing or shivering or trembling with cold, readjusting itself to the branch of the tree. It happened to send some particles of snow upon the writer or the poet. Here, the two agents of nature, we need to remember two agents of nature, the hemlock tree and the crow. They are the signifiers of sadness and gloom, just like the poet's mood was in the opening scene. For reasons which are not known to us, the poet was having a terrible day. That is not mentioned, the reason behind it. But the falling of the snow on his head or on his shoulder lifted his mood instantly. He had already spent his day in a sour mood or in a very sad mood, but the rest of the day it was saved by the crow and the hemlock tree. Generally, the hemlock tree and the crow, they are used as a negative reference, but the poet used them in a positive sense, which brings joy and happiness in the life of the poet. One must not take things for granted and should be open and liberal in his approach, whichever way the nature chooses to bless us. You will find some difficult words in the poem. Shook, that's the past tense of the verb shake, tremble. Hemlock, a poisonous tree with small white flowers. Rude, held in sadness or regret. Now, certain literary devices are used in the poem. The rhyme scheme is very simple, ABAB, CDCD. That's a rhyming pattern in the poem. Alliteration is the figure of speech in which the consonant is repeated right in the beginning of two consecutive words. Clear? The instances or the examples of alliterations in this poem are has given my heart. So H for has, heart, H for heart. So it's repeated twice. Now another example, and saved some part. So the word S, the consonant S, is repeated twice, saved and some. We'll find an example of inversion also, when the structure of a sentence is changed by the poet to create a rhyming pattern. Okay, in stanza 1, we can see the example of the inversion. Assonance, the prominence of a vowel sound throughout the line. Sorry. In stanza 1, line 2 will get snook down on me. The sound O is prominent here. Then third is the enjambment. When the same sentence is continues to in the next line without the use of any punctuation mark, we call it as an enjambment. It has been used throughout the poem. I hope you will listen to the explanation time and again to make your confusion clear or to make your doubts clear. This is a lovely poem of Robert Frost. As I have already told you that it has got a literal meaning as well as the inner meaning. So we need to understand both. And it's a lovely poem of nature written by Robert Frost. I hope all of you will like the poem and its explanation as sent by me. Thank you very much. Hope to see you in the near future with another explanation of a poem or a prose or a play as per your syllabus, CBSE syllabus. Thank you so much.